Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, was born in Egypt during the reign of Pharaoh, Fir'aun, a tyrannical ruler who oppressed the children of Israel, Bani Israel. Pharaoh feared the increasing population of the Israelites, so he ordered that all newborn Israelite boys be killed. Musa's mother, fearing for her child's life, was inspired by Allah to place him in a basket and set him afloat in the Nile River. The Quran says, "And we inspired the mother of Musa, suckle him. But when you fear for him, cast him into the river and do not fear and do not grieve. Indeed, we will return him to you and will make him one of the messengers." Musa's basket was carried by the river to the palace of Pharaoh, where it was found by Pharaoh's wife, Asiya, who was moved by his innocence and convinced Pharaoh to adopt him. Musa grew up in Pharaoh's palace, unaware of his true heritage. By Allah's wisdom, Musa's own mother was hired as his wet nurse, so she could still raise and care for him in secret. He grew up strong and wise, but as an adult he became aware of the injustices inflicted upon his people, the Israelites. One day, Musa witnessed an Egyptian man mistreating one of the Israelites. In an attempt to defend the Israelite, Musa struck the Egyptian, unintentionally killing him. Filled with guilt and fearing retribution from Pharaoh, Musa fled Egypt to the land of Madian. The Quran says, "And he entered the city at a time of inattention by its people, and found therein two men fighting, one from his faction and one from among his enemy. And the one from his faction called for help against the one from his enemy, so Musa struck him and unintentionally killed him. In Madian, Musa found refuge and met Prophet Shu'aib, peace be upon him, who was a righteous man. After helping Shu'aib's daughters at a well, Musa was invited to stay with them. Shu'aib offered Musa one of his daughters in marriage on the condition that he work for him for 8 to 10 years. Musa accepted and spent several peaceful years in Madian. After fulfilling his time with Shu'aib, Musa left Madian with his family. On their journey, Musa saw a strange fire on Mount Tur, Sinai. As he approached the fire, Allah called out to him, and when he came to it, he was called, "O Musa, indeed, I am your Lord, so remove your sandals. Indeed, you are in the sacred valley of Tuwa." At that moment, Allah revealed himself to Musa and commanded him to go back to Egypt and deliver a message to Pharaoh, to free the Israelites from slavery and to submit to the one true God, Allah. Allah also gave Musa 2 miracles as signs, the transformation of his staff into a serpent, and the radiant light that would appear from his hand. Musa expressed his fear of facing Pharaoh alone, so Allah appointed his brother, Harun, Aaron, as his companion and helper. Musa and Harun returned to Egypt and confronted Pharaoh. Despite the clear signs and miracles shown by Musa, Pharaoh was arrogant and refused to believe. He mocked Musa and called him a magician. Pharaoh challenged Musa to a public showdown with the best magicians of Egypt. In front of the people, Pharaoh's magicians threw down their ropes and they appeared like snakes. But when Musa threw down his staff, it turned into a real serpent and swallowed the magician's illusions. Recognizing the truth, the magicians declared their belief in Allah, but Pharaoh, enraged, threatened them with punishment. Pharaoh continued to resist despite a series of divine punishments, plagues, that afflicted Egypt. These included a plague of frogs, locusts, blood in the rivers, lice, widespread darkness. Each time, Pharaoh would ask Musa to pray to Allah to remove the plague, promising to release the Israelites, but he would break his word after the punishment was lifted. After Pharaoh repeatedly broke his promises, Allah commanded Musa to lead the Israelites out of Egypt secretly. Musa and his people fled, but Pharaoh and his army pursued them. When they reached the shores of the Red Sea, the Israelites were trapped between the sea and Pharaoh's army. At this moment, Allah revealed to Musa to strike the sea with his staff, and the sea miraculously parted, creating a pathway for the Israelites to cross. Pharaoh and his army followed, but as soon as Musa and the Israelites were safe on the other side, the sea closed in on Pharaoh and his soldiers, drowning them. Quran says, "And we inspired to Musa, strike with your staff the sea, and it parted. And each portion was like a great towering mountain." After their escape, Musa led the Israelites to Mount Sinai, where Allah revealed the Torah to him, giving him laws and commandments for his people. However, during his absence on the mountain, some of the Israelites, influenced by a man named Samiri, began worshipping a golden calf. When Musa returned, he rebuked his people for their disobedience, reminding them to worship Allah alone. Despite witnessing so many miracles, the Israelites often disobeyed Musa and lacked faith. They complained about food, refused to enter the Holy Land out of fear, and even questioned Musa's authority. Musa remained patient, consistently turning to Allah for guidance and help. The Quran does not provide many details about Musa's death, but it is believed in Islamic tradition that Prophet Musa died before entering the Holy Land, Palestine. He passed away as a revered prophet, and his life continues to serve as a source of inspiration for Muslims in their faith and reliance on Allah. Lessons from the life of Prophet Musa: faith and reliance on Allah. Despite immense trials and challenges, Musa always turned to Allah for help. Justice and leadership. Musa stood up for justice both in defending the oppressed and leading his people. Patience. Musa exhibited great patience in dealing with both Pharaoh's tyranny and the constant complaints and disobedience of his own people. Trust in divine plan. Even when the path seemed impossible, like at the Red Sea, Musa trusted in Allah's plan and Allah made a way.